Maybe This Helps podcast is back. I am joined by someone that you'll probably recognise from the very first episode that we ever did of this, Mr. Rhys Young. Thanks for being here, bro.
Pleasure, mate.
We'll sort of get into in a sec why Rhys is here, but first off, I just want to say very quickly, thank you to everyone that supported the episodes that we put out last time, because the support we got in such a short period of time was unbelievable. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, about the people that I spoke to, and just about the people that were listening as well. Like the amount of DMs and stuff that we got was absolutely mad. And yeah, there was, like, I always knew that we would be able to provide some value from having these conversations, but it was actually like a little bit overwhelming with how much of an impact it made specifically to people's lives. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for everyone that supported and liked and shared and followed and all that stuff. I basically had to stop the podcast, or stop recording the podcast, because it was never a full stop. It was always something that was going to come back. But I had to stop because life was just a lot at the time. I was still dealing with some stuff, like personally, and figuring some stuff out. As a lot of you will probably remember, I was just about to run a 120 kilometer ultra marathon, which I did, by the way. So thank you for everyone that sort of reached out after that. Thank you to everyone that's donated and supported. I managed to raise about £5,500 for St. Peter's Hospice, which was mega.
Class.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Class.
Yeah, that was unreal. You learn a lot about yourself running that far. So yeah, that was character building, to say the least. And then, yeah, a week later, my baby girl Daphne was born, so I had to figure that out, and I'm a dad now, and that's mental. So yeah, life just took a lot of different turns, and I had to figure some stuff out. And always in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, I need to get the pod going again. And I never really planned to stop putting out episodes. But over the past few months, I've been chatting to Rhys boy, and yeah, you know, we both get a lot out of having these conversations, and obviously Rhys does his stuff with Beyond the Chair. So it only made sense to take this in a slightly new direction and bring a slightly different energy, I guess. So Rhys has come on, and I'm not even talking about the ADHD, but yeah, Rhys is coming on, and we're going to co-host this, and we're going to do this thing together and just see what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw it over to you, man.
Yeah, well, I love that. Like, what better way to bring new energy to a podcast than someone riddled with ADHD? Like, yeah, great introduction. But yeah, I guess, mate, you know, like, credit where it's due. Like, what you did with Maybe This Helps initially to kick it off, and the guest speakers that you had on, and the guests and the people that you spoke to, like, the stories that they shared were incredible, right? And
yeah, man.
Your vision and what you wanted to get from that, I think you set out and you did and you achieved.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's continuing to grow that now, isn't it? I think what I do with Beyond the Chair is around getting men that feel safe and confident enough to talk about their struggles and their feelings, to show other people that it's okay not to be okay. But actually, when you start to like draw that back a little bit underneath those layers, it's all about sharing experiences to help other people kind of cope and manage, and that's exactly what, you know, you originally and are continuing to set out to do, but in a more public format. And 100%. I think that's incredible. And like, you know, not only am I nosy and I love those conversations and we get so much from it, but I just think there's so much power in knowledge that like the ordinary individual on planet Earth just walk around with every day. And like, yeah, it's just knowledge that other people can learn from, right? So, yeah, well up for this.
Mate, yeah, definitely. And I think, like, when, like, from that very first episode that we recorded in Vicky Park, and, like, you think, like, mate, I think that's nearly, like, a year ago now.
Crazy.
Even just, like, the conversations that me and you have had privately since then, how much we've grown and, like...
It's mad.
Yeah, just from having these conversations, right?
Yeah.
We've changed a lot, and we understand ourselves a hell of a lot more now, I think. And all of that has just come from having uncomfortable conversations either about our own lives or other people opening up to us about whatever they're going through, right?
Absolutely. I feel so much more grounded And I also feel like I've just got so much more perspective from
Yeah.
not only the conversations that you've had in the podcasts that I've listened to, but yeah, the men that we've had it Beyond the Chair. Yeah, the perspective that these sorts of types of conversation give you just help change your mentality massively.
Mate, yeah, definitely. So like, I guess just for anyone that's like listening or watching, what is it, I guess, for you, how do you think that you're going to be able to bring like a slightly different dynamic? Because we've both in some ways had journeys that overlap, but then I guess in other ways, like I'm in a completely different period of my life now, like with being a dad and figuring that out. So like the two of us together, I think is going to bring quite different dynamics, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're different people with different upbringings in some ways, and so we've both got different perspectives. So the way in which we kind of have conversations with our guests that are going to come on, we're both going to think of different dynamics, different questions. Obviously, with ADHD, I'm already like thinking about other things and like random stuff's going to come out of this, which hopefully is going to land well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that, and it's, as you said, like we're both at different points in our lives in the sense that like you've got different careers, you've got different family set up, you've got a child now, so that's very different. So it just adds an extra dynamic, and I think instead of it being you just interviewing someone, it creates a bigger conversation, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think like on that note, I think it ties quite good into, and like it's no secret, I've said this before publicly, but obviously I went to Beyond the Chair from the very start, and it actively helped me to understand how to have those conversations, right? And it wasn't the fact that I didn't necessarily know. Of course, I knew like how to have a conversation about what I was dealing with, but I didn't necessarily know how to articulate it and piece it all together.
Yeah.
And it was the group setting of Beyond the Chair that actually kind of helped me, because it was that almost like rebuttal, like you would bounce off each other and somebody would be able to chime in with like one little piece of something, and then all of a sudden everyone in the room would be like, yeah, like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think just by having you here, because there's still, like, as I've said, like I'm still figuring a lot of stuff out. So if it's just me one-on-one with a guest, that's amazing and there's a real connection there, but I still may not understand or have yet found a way to articulate something, but you might have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, depends on the circumstance, right? But I think the beauty of what you initially set up here with, maybe this helps as well, is the fact that like it's public, it's accessible. Obviously, Beyond the Chair is confidential, and that helps the people in the room. But like for me, it's about how can we make the biggest impact, right? And so this is absolutely perfect for that. I think your vision for this was incredible, and yeah, being part of that is exciting stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm pumped up for it. I guess we should probably just mention, just in case anyone new is listening, tell me about Beyond the Chair. Like, what is it? How did it start? And, you know, just give like a quick, like, couple of minutes.
Yeah, so essentially it's Beyond the Chair is a men's mental health group. It's originally started off once a week to create a safe space in a barber shop in Bristol. So I built up a really strong relationship and connection with my barber, who's cut my hair since I was like 15. And then I recognised that when you're in that barber chair and you have the conversation, it's a safe space and you almost kind of vent to your barber. So myself and my barber came up with the concept of creating Beyond the Chair. So it's a men's mental health support group where we have guest speakers come in to the barber shop. We open up a safe space for men to come in and share their thoughts and feelings and share coping mechanisms, or, you know, they'll talk about a problem that they've experienced and how they overcome it. And that will hopefully in turn help people that are in the room listening.
Yeah, nice, man. Yeah, you've said that. Like, you've got that down to a T now, haven't you? Like,
almost, yeah. Yeah. I've got short form and long form.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I love it though, man. And I think, I guess just on that, the way that this is, I guess, kind of different is obviously, like you said, like this is public. Like anybody that obviously wants to come on and be a guest, or maybe this helps, is, you know, willing to tell their story publicly, right? Whereas Beyond the Chair is more of like a behind closed door setup. It is for people that are not always, but a lot of the time they could be finding themselves in quite vulnerable situations, and they're actively very much struggling with what they're going through, like in that moment.
Yeah.
Whereas this podcast is more about, I guess in some ways, like the guests that and the people that we're going to be talking to, they've kind of got through whatever it is that they're dealing with. They're almost on the other side of it, and it's basically to kind of shine a light for people far and wide that whatever it is that you're dealing with, I don't want to sound too cliche, but like there is a happy ending almost. And I guess it gives people a little bit of hope sort of on that. Like, what are some of the like topics that like, or like people that you're kind of interested to talk to? Because I mean, we've spoke about a bit about this obviously over the past few months, obviously off camera, and we've both thought of and brought different ideas to this. I think it's quite exciting because last time round, a lot of the people that I spoke to, it was mainly based, a lot of the guests were based around like illness, like traumas. Like I spoke to quite a lot of people that were either going through or had been through cancer and that sort of thing. It wasn't just that, there was like different topics as well. But since talking, like we're looking to try and cast our net a little bit further as well, because I think there's a lot to learn through different topics. So like, what were some of the people that, or topics that you were kind of looking to talk about?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like where it ties into like our different experiences and how we both bring a different dynamic, right? Like I'm very much heavily focused into the mental health world, but beyond that, it's around, you know, I feel like over however many years I've recognized that like substance abuse, addiction, alcohol, you know, like homelessness, like all of those sorts of struggles and mental health and things, it's quite scary like how far that branches out, right? Like if somebody's an alcoholic, they're not necessarily homeless on the street drinking every day. It could be somebody that actually is like a high flyer, but from the minute they wake up, turn to booze and have a full-time family and they're married and they've got kids, but none of those people actually know about that. You know, and so for me, it's about helping other people within the local area or community and beyond to recognize that like all of this stuff happens on our doorsteps, and we need to be more understanding of it and accepting and helping rather than judging and being judgmental of those people, right? Because, you know, I think there's a stat like, what is it, 4 or 5 wrong decisions and you're on the street, and like we're all so close to that, but we're all so far away at times. And for me, it's like helping people recognize that. And like I feel like we're so disconnected as a society, right? Like, you know, you walk through your local town or whatever, and homeless people, and it's like people just ignore them, and it's like that's a human being at the end of the day. And that's a huge thing for me, really.
Yeah, nice. And I think like similar to that, like to sort of tee off of it, like one thing that like I'm super interested in is a lot of the things that we look at, like, so let's just use like gambling addiction, like maybe as an example. You could have somebody that in all aspects of their life are doing extremely well, and a few bad decisions like you touched on, all of a sudden they're in a massive hole financially. So I'm super interested to potentially speak to people based around finances. So maybe we could not just educate everyone else, but even educate ourselves about like maybe how to prepare for like the worst. Hopefully the worst never happens, and like we never get to a position where like we are in that much of a hole. But ultimately, whether we like it or not, people are getting in those situations, and like you're hearing it more and more now, aren't you? Right? So like maybe we can educate people around that, or like you said, like with like somebody that's maybe got a problem with like drink or drugs. A lot of these things, you don't just wake up and tomorrow you're an alcoholic. Like these things happen over a period of time, right? So maybe we can learn not just for ourselves, but for the people close to us, like the things to look out for, on what to spot if somebody maybe is starting to trend towards maybe having a problem with alcohol, or, you know, that sort of thing.
And it goes much beyond that as well, doesn't it, right? So like if you sit and have a conversation with somebody that is an alcoholic or was an alcoholic, they can talk about that experience. But when you start to unravel like how it got to that point, it's much deeper than that. So not only are you helping people that are either in that moment or just coming out of it, or you've got a family member listening whose partner or brother or whatever is struggling with alcohol, actually you can help educate people, recognize the signs way earlier on before it gets to that point.
Yeah.
So
Almost
it's,
like
yeah,
that what's the saying, like a prevention is better than a cure, right, sort of thing.
exactly.
So like,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I think basically what we're both trying to say is we're hoping to not just talk to people that are necessarily like deep in the depths of whatever it is that they're going through. We're hopefully going to be able to speak to some people that have got more of, I guess, like a professional lens on it that could help, like actively help to educate us and educate all of you listening, as well as learning from the individuals that have actually been through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make
Absolutely.
sense?
Yeah, 100% makes sense. And I think, like, you know, being straight up, we've both had our challenges through life in different ways and in similar, and there's a lot of crossover. And I think through that, you know, we're both quite empathetic, and I think, yeah, that's what's going to add to this.
Mate, I think me being empathetic is arguably my best and worst character.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, sometimes you're so empathetic that you almost kind of like go beyond your own boundaries and maybe I'll just make that friendship up just to keep it, you know what I mean? It's them sort of things. And that's another thing that I've learned over time, right? Is, you know, sometimes you do need to let go of things for the greater good, but that can be difficult. You know, sometimes you do have to make really difficult decisions that in the moment are hard, but in long term are going to be much more beneficial for you. And that's hopefully, again, another thing that I'd like to try and like shine some light on. You know, people are stuck in difficult situations and don't know how to make those decisions. So just stick with something, whether it's friendships, job, you know, anything. But actually, sometimes you have to go through that tough time to come out the other side.
Mate, I think we weren't necessarily planning on going there, but I think like for most people, whatever it is that you're going through, like arguably like however hard whatever it is that you're dealing with feels, it is going to be even harder to make that first step to change in.
Yeah.
But it is so necessary.
Absolutely.
And like, I guess, you know, everyone's darkest day is their darkest day, and you can't compare like mine or yours with someone else's, but you know, like we've both had to like at some point take like those first steps and like
dig deep.
Just fucking dog it out, man. And
I know it's a real like funny sentence, isn't it? But like, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Yeah,
literally,
it's one of them ones,
mate. But again, this is what I mean. I think it's easy for me and you to sit here now after like the past like 2, 3, 4 years of like not just making those first steps once either. No. Like I've had to make them multiple times.
Yeah, I've jumped hundreds of fences. Do you know what I mean? Not physically being chased by police, but like I'm not trying to incriminate myself.
You've seen that thing on Hot Fuzz when he like runs through the fence, mate.
I
feel like I've done that so many times.
Yeah, but now we're like clean over the boy, like hopping fences for days.
Mate, I'm hurdling.
Yeah, class. New sport.
Yeah.
Class.
Anyway, let's get back on.
Yeah, sorry, I've taken us off track.
Nah. ADHD.
Yeah. But it's all about that, isn't it? It's all about trying to just educate and help other people. And again, like, you will always be on a journey. Like, life's never 100% incredible. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be struggles. But you kind of need those to help you build resiliency and help you appreciate things. Yeah. If life was easy and life was smooth and plain sailing and everyone had loads of money and there were no stress, what would even be the point in existence?
No. Well, this is people are going to think this is proper cringy, but like there would literally be no growth. Like you would never.
Yeah. Well, what do you even look forward to?
Yeah.
Like if you've got everything in abundance,
100%.
Oh, we're going on holiday. What doesn't matter. I went last week.
Yeah.
Like who cares? Do you know what I mean?
Like there is no you need darkness to have happiness. Like there is no joy without pain.
No,
the two have to work in synergy, because otherwise you would just be neutral all the time.
100%. And I think, you know, like by losing family members that are close to you, as messed up as it is, actually changes your perspective on life massively. And it's a shame that it takes that. But my ability to be able to rationalize now is so much different, right? Like before losing close family members, everything can feel very stressful and very problematic. But my ability to rationalize now is like, yeah, you've lost your phone, But is anyone dead?
It's not that deep.
No. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the one. Yeah, it's that sort of stuff.
Like, oh wait, I've got phone insurance.
Yeah, cool. Like I have a roof over my head. I can go home to a hot bed. I've got food in the fridge. Like actually, when you start to take all of like what we would consider basics into consideration, you'd be surprised how many people don't have that.
Yeah, yeah. And mate, it's funny you say that on that, because obviously like a big, I guess like a massive part of my journey was obviously like, as people know, like I helped care for my nan and lose my nan and that sort of stuff. And it's really funny, like you learn obviously a lot about yourself and life and what you, once you get through that, like what actually brings you joy and happiness and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But then obviously like off the back of it, like, well, Daphne will be like 7 months soon, but like then I had Daphne, and I swear on my life, like if my nan was still here and I hadn't have been through that with my nan, I would not have been able to appreciate the time I've had with my daughter now. Like I've been able to extrapolate so much. Like my daughter's taught me so much about myself and life, but I firmly believe I'm only able to learn that stuff because I felt so much loss and pain before. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah.
And it's really funny like how that goes. And obviously at the time, like you know, like when you obviously lost your dad, and you know, like when you're going through all of that stuff, it's so hard to like project and see forward and think like, oh yeah, but like one day I'm weirdly gonna appreciate everything that it's taught me.
Yeah.
Like,
mate, absolutely.
like if somebody would have told me that 2 years ago,
yeah,
I'd have been like, get out of my house.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it from you. And it's really hard to like absorb that information, but again, like you ride those peaks and troughs and like you do the work and you take those first steps 100 times.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'll get to a point where, like you said, like things become less deep. All of a sudden, the things that used to cause you a lot of stress in life now don't.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think like, again, like back to Daphne, like I understand why so many people find having a baby really, really hard. But also, if you zoom out for a minute and you just appreciate it for what it is, yeah, you're tired. Yeah, there's a lot of nappies to change and they're relentless. They never stop. But all of that aside, you're literally pouring everything you've got into this little squishy thing. And you are seeing the growth in real time, like the development in real time. And if you just pause for a minute and you zoomed out on your own life, when you take those first steps over and over again, you can see that in yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a really round the house's way of me getting to that.
But it makes sense.
And like back to it, I've only been able to appreciate all of this through the pain I felt of caring for and losing my nan.
Yeah.
Which blows my mind, right? Like it's crazy to think I've got to that point, but like.
Well, I think it's, whether I'm speaking out of turn, but I think we undervalue life.
Oh,
because
100%. Yeah.
It's almost in abundance, right? It's like, oh, I'm having a child, or they've had a kid, or, you know, and everyone's got their family around them and stuff. But then actually, once like life is gone, then you recognize how precious that is. Then being able to create life and introduce life yourself.
Yeah.
But then not only introduce and create life, be the person that raises that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it adds a whole nother layer to your emotional attachment to that process, I guess.
And I think, yeah, it's and for the people out there that have been able to, I guess, set themselves up in a way where like they're on that journey without having to feel something like grief or dark days, for lack of a better term, I take my hat off to you. But I think for me, and again, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think for you as well, like we both had to live those experiences to get us to a place now where we're able to do that.
Yeah.
And I've said many, many times, but like I am in the weirdest way so grateful that I was able to experience and feel what I felt at 30, because I think there's so many people that don't experience that until maybe their 60s, like 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
And I'm super grateful because like I have the whole of my daughter's life now with this mindset.
Yeah.
And it's such a blessing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then it almost gives you beauty in like the loss that you had is then giving you something beautiful.
Yeah.
So it helps not offset it, but yeah.
It almost makes all the pain worth it.
Yeah.
Like, all the growth worth
yeah.
it. Like all the work I had to do internally is now worth it because I get to fully appreciate this.
And that's like something that I find beauty in is like the loss of my dad was like the hardest thing ever, right? And he was my best mate. But when I now look at like the man that I am today, the way that I compose myself, my mindset, what I do for others, etc., like I find some sort of like comfort in knowing that that is all because of my dad.
Yeah,
so
mate, I like that.
Do you
That's
know
nice,
what I mean?
mate. Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be half that person today if it wasn't for my dad.
Yeah.
Like the loss of my dad wouldn't have taught me all of the things that I know today, the way that I compose myself and treat others and have that level of empathy. And yeah, so there's comfort in me knowing that like that's almost my dad living through me.
Yeah, mate,
you know?
that's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mate, your dad, what a bloke as well. Love Steve.
Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, man. That's really nice. So yeah, I think, to be honest, like that's probably how these episodes are gonna go.
Yeah.
I think we're maybe just gonna start off talking about one thing, and maybe over the coming weeks, months, and years, you're gonna maybe find out a little bit more about me and you. And yeah, I think the aim for this is to not have too much pressure on any of it, really. I think we're just gonna try and be real and raw and see where the conversations go, and hopefully there's value in there for people.
Mate,
and
100%. I think just between the two of us, we've got so much like power and knowledge and experience and stuff that we can just talk like we did for hours and hours. Hopefully there's at least one person out there that takes something away from it and it helps them. Great. In addition to that, we'll be getting people on that will also add to the conversation, create new dynamics, spark new conversation, different topics. Like, let's go.
Yeah. And to just sort of wrap this sort of first reintroduction episode up, I suppose, I'll be straight up. I just want to do like a bit of a call to action for everyone that is listening, new or old. If you don't already, can you please like and subscribe and send this to someone that you think, you know, could benefit from it in some way. Obviously all of the all of the previous episodes are still available on all platforms. So please, if you haven't already, go back and listen to them. I still firmly believe that they were really honest and valuable conversations, and I think you'll probably most definitely get something from them. But also, I guess one thing that we've spoke about sort of behind the scenes is if you're a business or a charity or an individual, whether you have some skills or knowledge or experience in something that you think could not only be valuable for us as a podcast or I guess as individuals, but for the people listening, reach out, get in touch, because we'd love to like collaborate with you. If you're like a coffee shop or a restaurant and you think that you've got a really cool venue that you want to promote, but you think it'd be like a good backdrop for us to like record an episode, like we'd love to do that. Or I don't know, if you're a charity and you're just looking for somebody to come down and shoot some content for you, like we'd love to come down and have a chat and get to know you a bit and what you're about and hopefully try and help you out in some way. You know, I'm still running. I'm running another 100k, but this time it's not for charity. I don't know what's wrong with me. But
you will not catch me joining you in anything beyond 2k.
You can just be the commentator.
Yeah, I'll drive.
Yeah. But you know, like I'd love to get involved if I can in something. Like if you're doing some sort of charity event, then let us know. Like we'd love to be a part of it. Anything you want to add on that?
No, mate. I think, you know, anybody that's out there thinking, oh, I don't really have anything to add to that, you probably most definitely do. I think we all forget sometimes like how unique we are as individuals, and whether it's an experience or whether it's the job that you do or what you've been through. Like there are so many people out there that what they think that is going on in their life is normal, but it's actually not.
Yeah.
So just reach out. Like.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I guess from me and Rhys, this helps, and hopefully this helps. I
Here's
guess.
to something new.
Yeah.
Let's go.